Hey everyone, Sean here, and today in this episode, this is the final sort of review for season one. Thankfully, because there's more seasons for Gen V, and that already says something, right? I'm definitely wanting more. It's just a hit, pretty much out of the park. I liked it. I liked how they wrapped it up. My only complaint though it was that it was probably the shortest episode. It was only like 30, 33 minutes, 35 at the most, I think. 40 at the very, very most, maybe. But this has a lot of questions, right? Like what's gonna happen and all this stuff. It's really hard to spoil, not to spoil, as I review it. Man, there's a lot to talk about with spoilers, stuff, right? But um, all in all, like I just like my general thoughts of it. Though I really liked how they wrapped it up, and I just loved like just that chaos that it unleashed in this episode. It's just what ever since what happened at the end of episode 7, it just pretty much started to unleash and open the cage that was chaos, right? That was containing this chaos, and then just everything was unleashed, and then even we see some familiar faces later on who make very, very inviting appearances, even at the end credits, of course, and it just leaves me wanting to see more of it, man. I love the characters, right? What sides they took. It's very believable. It was well written, at least very much enough to make these characters believable of why they chose their sides. And I just love the action, everything. Like the way it just snowballed into just this bloody pulp, right? Like literally, right? Like the violence and everything just amps up to 10, if not 11. Like it was nuts. It was chaos. That's the word for it. A bloody, bloody cup of chaos. And it was just lovely to see, just how things unfold and how things kind of ended in a way. But it definitely, with the ending, leaves me wanting very much for more. That's how I definitely feel about it. Like my personal consensus is that I really like Gen V. Is it better than the boys? I definitely wouldn't say that, but it definitely is a different flavor that you definitely will welcome within the boys franchise, right? And it definitely makes me really want to see season 4 of the boys, where they're gonna go with this, right? Especially with where the Gen B characters are, the kids, like where they're gonna wind up and stuff like that. It definitely is going to be awesome to see. Very leaves me very curious. That's one way to put it. And I hate to overuse this word, but very interesting. It's very intriguing, and just um, these some of these storylines that have been going on. Um, Thankfully, they didn't get in too much in the way, like the romantic relationships, for example. They might play with that later on for the second season or something like that. But there was one relationship, of course, is important, and it definitely is a number of like interesting sort of discoveries and stuff like that. Further with somebody's powers, and of course, people level up in terms of how powerful they are, so on and so forth. It definitely is lovely, I guess, to see these characters, you know, come to terms, at least some of them anyway, with what's going on with them, with themselves at least. And for some others, it's damn, the colors has been shown, let's just say. So yeah, but this episode definitely is, I would say, like a solid 10. I think this is definitely like the best episode just because of what it accomplished, the job it's doing, despite being pretty damn short, unfortunately. But it definitely did the job, I think, and definitely leaves me wanting for more. Just that not exactly keys jangling, jiggling and dangling, and stuff like that. Like they leave that big juicy bait just hanging and just can't reach to it, but they know what they're doing, and it's just the way they wrapped it up is just so good. It's so good. So I would definitely give the entire series for right now, for this season anyway, of Gen V, a solid like 8 out of 10. I think the story, the writing of itself does help carry these characters. Like each individual character They are memorable in their own right, but they're not like Homelander or like the Deep or whatchamacall A Train and stuff like that. Maybe they're on par with like Queen Maeve and stuff like that, but and even like some of the members of the Boys, right? But they're definitely not like Butcher or Homelander, right? I mean, geez, those two, right? But these characters though together and the story and everything, when you combine it together, it that's where it definitely shines. Like where they started, what was going on with him, and then where they wound up. It definitely was very consistently good, and I just love the sort of quote unquote evolution of it. So there is a lot to say, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. 8 out of 10. Great spin-off series for the boys, and I definitely cannot wait to see the boys, right? Season 4. That's really all I gotta say. So all right, so with that, I definitely am aching to talk about the spoilers right now. All right, welcome back everyone. Spoiler time. Damn. That I like, it's like definitely one of those things like you love to hate it, like the ending too. It's just like because you definitely want to cheer for the four kids at least, right? With Marie, Jordan, Andre, and of course Emma, right? But let's try to go in order, and basically ever since Kate slit Shetty's throat and made Marie not use her powers, it definitely, was the key to open the cage in a way. Like that was the starting point of this snowball, this bloody snowball, right? And it definitely became more bloody and pulpy, but with each passing minute, essentially, with the violence that happened later on. Of course, um, with Kate being essentially the main villain, right, of the or the final villain, I should say, by the for this season anyway. And then of course, Sam takes Kate's side, of course, because he was tortured. He definitely has a point, but you know, what they're gonna do is also not right either. So who is to say who really is right, like right or wrong or whatever, and all that stuff. So it definitely is a moral thing going on, and definitely is hard to say like whose side would you pick, right? Because yeah, like what they're doing is fucked up, but what you're also doing is also fucked up too. It doesn't really make you any better than them, or that type of thing. But sometimes, of course, you want some payback, right? You want some revenge, and that definitely is understandable. So it's like, you know, bygones be bygones. I don't know if that's the right phrase for here, but that's, I don't know. It definitely is what it is, and of course with the four kids, um, going taking the other side, right, to save the people, right? It's say, being, I guess, the super moral, like morally right heroes and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, Kate opens the cage, opens the woods, unleashes the woods and everything, and chaos just happens because the soups go after the non-soups, and what you call there was that interesting part where the social media manager, I forget his name, he had some experience, right? I mean, he blew up that one soup from the woods. He had some like remote bombs for himself. He was undercover apparently, but probably for bot. So yeah, I mean, just the undercover, just like eyes for bots to make sure Godalkin University is running right and everything. And of course, by this point, we know that this university is a fucking front for a lab to experiment on soups to make sure they can control the soups if the shit ever hits the fan, right? in terms of like what the soups can do to humans and stuff like that, the non-soups. But here's the thing, right? I mean, if they go after the humans, I mean, because of what compound, I mean, what where the soups get their powers, right? Like, wouldn't the humans be able to do the same, right? To just like combat the soups, become a soup to combat the soup. Maybe there is a moral, right? Like, right, like they don't want to become a freak like them. They don't want like the consequences or something like that. I guess there is a line to draw, but I don't know. Like, if it's really that easy to inject yourself or whatever and get these powers, wouldn't you do the same if you're a human just about to be killed by a super, you know what I mean? Like, maybe there is a bit of a fault with this storyline here, but it's not thinking about that too much. But anyway, um, there probably is more to it than that. But anyway, but anyway, back to here. The social media manager, yes, was blowing up that soup, but then Cake took over him and controlled him to blow himself up in front of the live stream. When she was live streaming it, it was kind of like the beginning, right, of I guess what her plan was, right? And of course, meanwhile, I believe her name is Ashley, right? The CEO, I believe, of Bot or whatever, uh the one of the bosses for Bot, besides Homelander, of course. And then um she was there and tries to take control, but just panics because of course the suits were out killing the humans. And of course even the movie director almost got killed by Sam. Was stopped by Emma, right? And then Sam and Emma had that argument. It was painful to watch, but the performances just made it all the just better, right? I forgot to say that. I should add that into the review, but here I am saying it now. The performances have been very, very good. These actors are just super capable. Um, I love like the little nuances, right, that these actors can do. Um, and yeah, especially with Sam and Emma arguing with each other, right? Like, this is right, blah blah blah. Like, I'm here for you, or you're not. You're just here for yourself, just because you want to be appreciated. That's what Sam said to Emma by that end of it, and that was fucked up, right? I mean, is it true? I mean, sure, but like that's fucked up nonetheless to package it like that, And um, we also discover, I think, that crying also burns or loses calories or something, right? It's a form of purging, I guess you could say. So maybe we have another way for Emma to shrink herself, right? Is to cry, but that's fucked up, So, but maybe she can like like sniff some pepper or something or some sort of like chemical to make her cry a lot, and um she can shrink that way instead of like vomiting all gross and stuff like that. At least just cry your eyes out. I don't know. Go watch some sad ass like Miyazaki movie or something. But anyway, um, um, but I guess crying does make her shrink because yes, crying loses fluids. You're technically losing fluid, right? And losing fluid is a form of purging in a way. So maybe some like maybe perhaps she can use that to her advantage now instead of just vomiting her guts out and to the point of vomiting even bile out. It's gross, but she may have a better way now, learning about her powers more, right? And stuff like that. So that's done. And then you have even before though, like Sam was like, Sam has some like internal conflict, of course, right? And that was in the form of his brother, right? His consciousness was telling him like, dude, you don't want to do this. You're not, you're not like this type of person, but his desire for revenge takes over and essentially tries to close out Luke, well, his consciousness and stuff like that. I mean, it's good to see Luke back, but that's the thing, right? Like that's like one of my kind of my complaints that one of these one of the main characters like just straight up dies in the first episode. It's kind of like it's like some animes have done that. I forget what, but anyway, um, yeah. So it definitely is good to see him. But it is painful to watch just Sam like choosing the wrong choice, right? Just like that scene with Emma and Sam, right? Just him seeing going the wrong path is painful, right? And that's what the good writing did. I feel right with me anyway. Um, and yes, of course. Meanwhile, Kate is just going at it, right, with the controlling and everything. Using her powers and all that stuff. And then like by the end of it, her eyes were just like fucked because of how much she's using her powers. Just damn, man, just everything was fucked up. Everything was just messy and chaotic and all that. Gross too because of how much just blood and guts are just flying and stuff. Skulls being shown, they just don't care. And they're random note, right? I mean, Translucent had a son at the university, which is the invisible dude who has what is it, the alpaca or llama or whatever, whatever that is. Like I think that's pretty funny. But anyway, that he was being controlled by Kate to fight Marie at some point. Um, and then like whatchamacallit, everyone's fighting. Jordan's fighting, Maria's about to fight, and then even Andre was joining the fight at some point. And then, unfortunately we didn't see Emma in action. She lost her battle with Sam, this emotional battle with Sam. She had to take that big ass L and turn really tiny at that in that process. But Marie though, definitely is discovering more of her powers, right? Like with her blood and everything, she can sense blood and all that stuff, thanks to Newman, kind of like telling her you have so much potential and stuff like that, and goes at it, right? Uses her blood powers for the good, and you know is able to knock out the invisible kid, and uh, later on she did like the blood crystal thing, stalagmites, whatever you want to call them, spikes that she can take from dead bodies and just like throw at another soup, um and by that time too, like meanwhile Andre was trying to talk to Kate, but Kate was saved by Sam, and Sam fights Andre. But the it goes to show that of how durable Sam, or not Sam, Andre is. Like he took a lot of hits from Sam, and Sam is supposed to be like the strongest one at Godalkin University. But Andre can take some hits, and Andre can throw the hits too. I mean, he maybe can keep up with Sam if his head was straight had his head straight and everything. But like with the emotions, what he was going through too, with what was going on with his dad, and what their powers do to themselves. Because like there's that thing where if you use if they use their powers, at least with their magnetic stuff, I guess it like tears up their brain or something like that slowly every time they use their powers. And that's why when you see Andre use his powers to stop the helicopter from crashing at some point. um he gets lightheaded because he's literally killing himself. He's tearing up his brain and everything. And then there's that sad moment where yeah, his dad kind of like is trying to pass on the torch to Andre, and he said he was sorry and everything about him covering up the woods and everything. He knew, and he played along, and he was a part of it. And tries to tell him that he has no regrets raising him and the rest of the family and stuff. And that's the one thing that he genuinely felt about, right? He loved his son and everything. But of course, he had to not talk about the woods to protect Andre and such like that. But bygones being bygones. I think that's where it's said here. But anyway, back to here with Andre, right? He took some hits from Sam and stuff like that. And then by the time, yeah, like Jordan was fighting against several soups and was getting her ass whooped because there's too many of them. Um, what you call Marie, I think saves her or them by probably just like oh yeah, it's just like I don't know, stop the heart rate or something, slow down the heart. And then Jordan got was able to pick themselves up and then beat up the other soups and stuff like that. And then by that point, yeah, the soup was going after the helicopter where it had Ashley and all the other humans that were there at the time, at least the bot um, staff. And Marie saves them by unleashing the blood spikes and everything. But by that time, well, of course, the dramatic appearance of Homelander, um, comes into play and just, I love that he doesn't say much, but it's very compelling, right? He was a man of few words in this one. I was actually thinking that this might just be like a imitator or something like that, just to use Homelander's image to intimidate them. But no, this is Homelander. This is definitely Homelander. Unleashes the eye lasers and everything. Cuts to black, and then here we are with Marie, Emma, Andre, and Jordan, now prisoners in this like sealed fucking room underground, kind of like what happened with Maeve, right? And they're deep underground under Vought, so that's where they are. And lo and behold, Vought paints them as the bad guys, and they name Kate and Sam as Guardians of Godolkin. So now they have this little league now, I guess, with these two kids, and then even though Marie clearly saved the people in the helicopter. Even the movie director's like, I want to put that in the movie, right? Like, and everything. I'm sure they saw it and they know what happened, but they gotta they gotta be hush hush about it. It sucks, and that you hate to see it, but that's just what it is, man. That's what Vought does. It's very much in their character to do shit like that. Um, and yeah, I mean, who knows? Like Ashley does have some regrets. She does feel bad, but she has some guilt. But we'll see. We'll see how she really feels by the end of it, right? Like, does she feel bad to throw these kids under the bus like that? We don't know. We don't know. Maybe thinking that letting, not letting Sam and Kate being the guardians of Godolkin might have shook something else or something, and they didn't want that to happen or something like that, or they didn't want the fact that they didn't want Godolkin University to be yeah, because they didn't want to take any fall or anything like that. Um, so they definitely still want Godolkin University to run, to raise these kids. Who cares about the woods at this point? I guess because they already got the virus, and yeah, or somebody did, and yeah, you know, they have to cut their losses for what happened, and then use these kids to throw on the bus, and there you go, they have them take the fall, and that's it. That's how it ends. And then of course we have Butcher, right, coming in, say those words, you know, cunts and everything, involving with cunts, and oh man, it's just so welcoming to see Butcher back, and after that long wait, we do have to wait a little longer to see season 4, but it's gonna be during spring. It definitely is going to be because Homelander's coming for Mortal Kombat, so that's definitely going to be the time for him to be coming, right? And of course, along with that, season 4 of The Boys. So, But yeah, that's it, man. It's funny though because something like Invincible took its place, right? To be now another series for me to look forward to on Amazon Prime for another like what, another 7 weeks now, another 8 weeks, you know. I'll definitely be talking about that. But yeah, wrapping up for the Boys spinoff, Gen V, man. I cannot wait for season two. Um, just trying to think of anything else I've potentially missed. Yeah, I mean, of course, there's some humans moments, even with this seriousness, this chaos and stuff like that. Just you just love these shitheads like the that live streamer, right? That live streamer girl, and her roommate, and then the invisible dude, and the movie director Ashley, of course. It really melds together. It's the boys that you love, and it's just like, oh man. I love it. I really like this series. I'm just like so on that high time right now, and I love it. I really do like how this is all turning out. Gen V, another welcoming series, and yeah, so I'll definitely look forward to it more. So that is it for realsies for all this stuff. If you have any comments, leave me down below. Like the video and all that stuff. Subscribe. Really appreciate it, guys. And yeah, that'll be it for Gen V for right now. Season 1. Definitely cannot wait for season 2. But until then, I'll see you all in the next video. Sean out.